Recently, my wife and I watched the finale of the show White Lotus. From the start, we knew something bad would happen to at least one of the characters on the show. We didn't know who. We kind of had a list of who we'd like bad things to happen to, but, that's what you do over the season. But we could not wait to see how the show would end. And then we watched the finale, and honestly, I ended up a bit disappointed. The show ended with too many why and well, what about them questions for my taste. It's not the first show that I have felt this way. Do you remember the show Lost? Yeah. I still can't explain the ending. I still can't explain the last 3 seasons. All I know is that's time I will never get back. But I am sure you have a show or you have a movie that didn't quite meet your expectations. It's not just an entertainment problem. A lot of times in our lives, we get excited about something, and it turns out differently than we expected. Maybe it was that promotion you worked so hard for, only to find it's not what you'd hoped for. Or the new relationship you were in, and it turns out not to be so dream come true-y. Excitement and disappointment are parts of our lives. Excitement and disappointment both are captured today in our gospel readings. Jesus enters Jerusalem riding a donkey. A donkey symbolized peace. A horse would have signified war. So Jesus comes in as the Prince of Peace. And people welcome him joyfully, waving palm branches, the symbols of victory and celebration. But just days later, the same crowd who was shouting Hosanna now turned to cries of crucify him. For the people, they wanted Jesus to be a certain type of king, one who would lead them back to prominence. But it did not take long before Jesus would disappoint them. Jesus was here for a very different reason than power. Palm Passion Sunday moves quickly from joy to sorrow, from triumph to tragedy, much like our own lives. We have ups, we have downs. How do we deal with disappointment? How do we deal with the pain and misery that comes with living? The answer is not how. The answer is who. Our Lutheran faith teaches us that God's glory isn't revealed in power or in triumph, but precisely in suffering and humility. Because Jesus went through the bad, we believe Jesus meets us right where we hurt, in our pain, our confusion, and our disappointment. The good news is that today is the beginning of Holy Week. The beginning. Palm Passion Sunday reminds us that disappointment and pain are parts of our lives as Christians. There is no avoiding that fact. This Holy Week reminds us that things are not always fine and dandy. We journey through today's Palm celebration and the suddenness of a somber passion. Then there is the dread of Maundy Thursday and the suffering of Good Friday. But that is not where the week ends. The week does not end with the cries of pain on Friday. The week ends with the shouts of joy on Easter. In Jesus' resurrection, we see clearly that pain is replaced with healing. Disappointment is replaced with hope. Today, we might think life is like a television show that disappoints and leaves us with too many questions. But in 7 days, our lives will be renewed, and our questions will be answered. And we can celebrate the beginning, not the end, of a new season of steadfast grace.